So, my Toastmasters and zero guests. Tonight I'd like to talk to you about coming to a new country and learning some new things. On our very first night in Canada, we were invited to a house party in Bramalea. So we used the country, we get all dressed up for the occasion. We get there, we found out that casual was casual. There was a jeans and sweater affair. And that was lesson number one in Canada. I noticed that I was the only male sitting very uncomfortably in a room full of women. The other guys, they passed through, picked up a beer. And that's when I discovered that Canadian houses have basements. And that was lesson two. All the men were watching television. It was sports. And I thought, this must be pace hockey, which I'd never seen before. The coach, very dramatic, dressy kind of guy. He has some great players. One was called Bobby Orr, the other was Phil Esposito. And the team he was coaching was the Boston Bruins. So the evening went on, I noticed, these people in this room, they are really up for this. They are quite excited. Hockey must be something. So, soon after this, I started a new job, and then a new hockey series started. I cottoned on fairly fast that if I wanted to participate in the talk around the water cooler, that I needed to get to know this game. So I started with the word check. Now, check can be a forecheck, it can be a back check, it can be a hip check, it can be a poke check, or even it can be a cross check. Checking is getting in the way of the other player and keeping him away from the puck. If you do it too vigorously to the best player in the other team, a skirmish may break out. This is called roughing. If the other team's tough guy gets there quickly enough, he'll set about you and he may drop his gloves. This is called fighting. Fighting is done by two guys waltzing around to very loud music, trying to land a punch when they're off balance. The crowd loves this. Eventually, the referees push in and separate the contestants. Penalties are assessed to the instigator, to the third man in. Meanwhile, the star player skates back to the bench unharmed with a smirk on his face. The new series is called the Canada Cup. And it started in September and it involved Russia and Canada. The series went 8 closely contested games. For most of the time, Canada was losing. This was the source of much concern. And in the water cooler, a new committee of inquiry was held daily. Canada's captain was a mischievous, toothless fellow called Bobby Clark. He personally saw to it that the Russia's best player did not play in the final game of the series. At the very last minute of the game, Canada pulled goalie. I was working it, getting the language. So Canada pulled goalie. And we heard the magic words, he shoots, he scores. And Canada had won. National pride was restored. To this day, you will see the recorded highlight, and everybody knows the name of the goal scorer that night. Since that night in Bramalea, I soon realized that hockey is more than a national pastime. It's a religion. If you don't believe this, let me tell you about the two most famous Canadians of this century. Remember the well-dressed coach of the Boston Bruins? This guy's still around, only now he's not well-dressed. He's extravagantly, outrageously dressed. And he appears on a program called Hockey Night in Canada. And his name is Don Cherry. So Don Cherry I nominate as my second most famous Canadian of this century. And now the other one. The other guy played for Toronto Maple Leafs. Later on, played for the Buffalo Sabres. And he started a business with a friend in 1964 and was successful. And unfortunately, he died 10 years later. But the business continued. And this guy is the most famous person in all of Canada. His name is known from coast to coast to coast. The most famous Canadian of the century, I submit, is Tim Horton. And let me finish by looking at the blue sky and telling you who will be the winner of the Stanley Cup this year. Go, Leafs, go.